Welcome to MTGMoxBox. Today we will be going over the top two for the upcoming Adventures of the Forgotten Realms, which is the Dungeons and Dragons set, and that is scheduled to be released on July 23rd. For this set, we will be offering 6 slots. That would be all the 5 colors and multicolor, and then we'll be treating the colorless and lands as box toppers. So we'll be assigning them randomly at the end of each opening. We'll start with the white slot and then go over the top 2 cards, and we'll each go over our top 2 cards for that slot. Okay, for white, my first pick was Oswald Fiddlebender. Yeah, Oswald is a legendary gnome artificer, costing 1 and a white for a 2/2. I liked his ability, his magical tinkering, where you pay white, tap, sacrifice an artifact, and you search your library for an artifact card with mana value equal to 1 plus the sacrifice artifact's mana value, and then you put it directly onto the battlefield.
Actually, I have a question, not about a card. Is this the same Oswald as the Oswald in Strixhaven?
In Strixhaven, I think it was Oscar, right?
Oh, Oscar, sorry.
Yeah, but I was thinking to put him in the Oscar deck.
Bad idea.
Terrible.
So that was my first pick.
Alright.
What else did I pick? Oh, my second pick was Loyal Warhound. 1 white for a 3/1 dog with vigilance. But when he ETBs, if an opponent controls more lands than you search a library for a basic plains card, and you put it onto the battlefield tapped, and then you shuffle. So I think we've been saying it a lot. White always needs help with ramp, and this is just another ramp option for white now. At least as a way to keep up with your opponents who are ramping more. Plus, it's a dog.
Ramp dog.
Yeah, it's a ramping dog.
Nice.
So those were my top 2.
Okay. So for mine, for my first one, I picked Grandmaster of Flowers.
Oh yeah,
I have that one.
So as his loyalty counter, if it's 7 or more, he is a 7/7 dragon god creature.
So he starts with 3, and
Right.
he has 2
Plus
plus 1 abilities.
So he starts out as a planeswalker, not as a creature.
Right.
But when he does get to 7, he becomes an indestructible god creature with flying and indestructible.
You need to find a way to get as many loyalty counters on him as quickly as possible.
Might be nice to put in a white and blue one, just because blue has way to kind of cast or use a planeswalker ability, instant.
And get that deep glow skate out.
True.
Double his counter
Yeah.
really quickly, and his +1 is also good because you can do target creature without first strike, double strike, or vigilance can't attack or block until your next turn.
So
So
he
you
locks
can
out a creature.
disable someone's
Yeah.
creature.
But the second ability, I looked up Monk of the Open Hand. That's the second ability that you can kind of tutor for it, either in your library or graveyard. That card is a little underwhelming for me, at least. The Monk of the Open Hand.
It's just a regular creature, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's like a tutor cast white creature type of thing. Yeah.
Does it have any abilities that we need to be aware of?
I don't remember there was anything that jumps out to me when I looked at it. Yeah.
I guess if we're looking at it from a commander's perspective, that probably won't be as interesting. That might be something more useful in.
I just gotta say, man, his name sold me already. It's called Bahamut.
Yeah,
that's so
it's
cool.
interesting.
Yeah. Do you have another one?
And the second one I picked is Guardian of the Faith. It is the Flash Vigilance Spirit Knight. When it ATBs, any number of other creatures you control phase out. So when there's a board wipe, you can flash this guy out, phase out your stuff, and
But only creatures, right?
creatures.
Yeah.
Creatures.
So not quite. It's a poor man's Teferi's protection. Because you can't protect your other permanents.
Hey,
I'm not complaining.
Hey.
Not complaining. Yeah. These board wives are dangerous these days,
There are lots of board wipes, so anything.
To protect your dog, man. Your loyal hound, warhound,
Sure.
That could work, yeah.
So those are my top 2. What about you?
Cool. I got Mr. Bahamut as well. The only one I have that's different is the Book of Exalted Dead, just because it's a pretty cool life-gaining aspect type of legendary artifact.
Oh, yeah.
3 white to cast. If you gain 3 or more life, you get to put a 3/3 angel at your end step. And you can sack it to put a enlighten counter on Angel. Basically, that Angel says, that counter basically says, hey, if this Angel's in play, you can't lose the game and your opponents can't win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Kind of interesting. Yep. And that's it for white.
Alright, for blue, my first pick was Imrith or Imrith, Desert Doom. So it's 3 blue for a 5/5 legendary dragon with flying. It has Ward 4 as long as it's untapped, so that's nice protection against your opponents. But whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. But if you happen to have fewer than 3 cards in hand, you draw cards equal to the difference. So I like this one because it's an aggressive way of playing blue. Usually blue's sitting there with a handful of cards. But this encourages you to have less than 3, so you draw even more every time this dragon hits a player. So I thought that was nice. So that was my first pick.
Same.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking this is going to make counter decks very dangerous, man.
Well,
You
it's
keep
kind of
count-
risky, right?
yeah,
because
but
if you're I guess if you're
Right?
countering
You're
so
using
much,
all counters, and then you keep replenishing your counters.
that is true. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. All right.
All
I
right.
picked that one too. All right. Next.
My next pick probably wasn't picked by anyone else, but I went with a True Polymorph. 4 blue for an instant where a target artifact or creature becomes a copy of another target artifact or creature.
Oscar deck again?
No,
Oscar has no red.
Oscar
blue.
doesn't have blue.
Oh, good.
But I don't know. I just
Excellent.
like these. You'll remember Wrong Turn from
Yeah.
Commander Legends. This seems like another one of those things where you can kind of I feel like they're having enough. There's almost enough where I can put together a deck with it. All it does is just screw with things that are on the board.
I like it too, but I just kind of hesitant with the casting cost. This is a lot, man.
It's really
That
high.
is true, but it is instant. So if you're keeping your mana open for a counter or something,
guess.
if you're a blue deck, then you could also do this to do something interesting.
True that.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Do you have anything else that's different?
I have the dragon as well for the first, and then the second one I picked Mordenkainen.
Oh yeah, more
Kanan? Kainen. Planeswalker starts with 5. Draw 2 cards for the +2 ability. Put a card from your hand to the bottom of the library. So you can kind of cycle through your deck. The -2 ability is create a blue dog illusion token. The creature's power and toughness are equal to twice the number of cards in your hand.
Twice.
But the ultimate ability is what I was interested in, is exchange your hand with library. Then shuffle, you get an emblem, you have no maximum hand size.
Wow. So you have your entire
Holy-
So you have your
into
entire
hand-
library.
into your hand.
Yep. With only 7 cards to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Or less.
You know what? I want to see you use that one day. I want to see how you're gonna hold that in your hand.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
Just hold the cards that I need to win the game.
Make a rule that if it's not in your hand, you can't play it. For me, I picked a dragon as well for my first one. My second one was actually Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Yeah, that sorcery. Each opponent exile cards from the top of their library until that player has exiled cards with total mana value of 20 or more. So it's actually kind of mean because if you think about it, if your opponent is low on land and you keep making them exile land cards, it actually doesn't count toward a 20. So
Right.
you're actually putting them even further behind in the game. So I just thought it was it's a very hideous. It's a nice hideous laughter that's going to be going on.
So there's a chance you can take out all their lands, right?
Very chance.
Depends on how the deck is built.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking you potentially would be taking away some of your mana sources by doing this because there's no casting cost. It's not going to contribute that 20 or more.
Evil.
Yeah, what an evil card.
All right. Anything else for blue?
That's it.
I think that's it. All right, for our black slot, my first pick was Vorpal Sword. So this is a 1 black CMC equipment.
Black.
Where the equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has Death Touch, which I think by itself is actually pretty good already. But it has this really interesting ability where you pay 5 black, and then until end of turn, Vorpal Sword gains whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player. That player loses the game. So
Rogue Passage.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't even think
Well,
that far.
Rogue's Passage will require mana to activate, and then you have to pay 8 on top of that. So it's a lot of mana, but it is an interesting way of knocking out a player. So
Rogue
Very
Passage is
interesting.
4 mana, right?
4
Yeah.
to
that
make
might
it
be-
unblockable.
I mean, if you bring out like a shadow creature or something, there's ways around it. Like there's black unblockable creatures too. Or
Yeah,
if it's black or blue, that's probably where it's probably most potent. But yeah, very interesting card. Can't wait to see if I can use it effectively.
Wow, so evil, but I picked it too.
I like it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, your second one.
My second pick was Sphere of Annihilation. So this is a it's right there.
Oh, yeah.
X and black for a it's an artifact that enters with X void counters on it, and at the beginning of your upkeep, you exile the sphere and all creatures and planeswalkers with mana value less than or equal to the number of void counters on it, as well as all creature and planeswalker cards in graveyards with the same mana value or less. So it's effectively a wipe that also clears out graveyards as well.
Ooh, better Bujikabog.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I don't have a good deck to use it in though, but I just feel like I could. It's effective because it's an X spell, so you can kind of work it around whatever you're trying to build. But that was my 2 picks.
Alright. Yeah, I also picked the sword, and the second one I picked is the Book of Wild Darkness. Legendary artifact, black to cast. At the beginning of your end step, if you lost 2 or more life this turn, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. The second ability is that if you tap, exile the Book of Wild Darkness, and artifacts you control name Eye of Vecna and Hand of Vecna, create Vecna, a legendary 8/8 black zombie god creature token with indestructible. It gains all trigger abilities of the exile card, so it gains the ability of if you lost more than 2 life, you get the 2/2 black zombie token. Let me check the eye in the hand. They do different things. Okay, the eye. When Eye of Vecna enters the battlefield, you draw a card and you lose 2 life. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 2. If you do, you draw a card and you lose 2 life. And Hand of Vecna is at the beginning of combat of your turn, equip creature or a creature you control named Vecna gets +X/+X, where X is the number of cards in your hand. And to equip, you can either pay 2 mana or pay 1 life for each card in your hand. So that's really interesting. So the token that you generate has all those abilities, which is...
So it's interesting because the Hand of Vecna is an equipment. So the token gains the, what is it, the +X/+X
Yep.
ability? Okay.
So it's almost like an Imperial Armor thing already, right?
Oh, you're right, yeah.
And X is the number
And
of cards
then-
in your hand.
Very interesting.
And then you lose 2 life anyways from Eye of Vecna, so you draw a card and you lose 2 life, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, the eye allows you to keep drawing more cards by paying
Right.
mana and life.
And then you get
and
zombie
the hand-
creature
yeah.
token from the Book of Wild Darkness.
So you get zombies, you get a big zombie god,
You get to draw.
you get to draw, you also buff your zombie god with the
with
cards
the
that
cards
you draw.
in your hand, yep.
Yep.
And you also get zombie tokens.
And you have an army to follow it. Okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did you have any black?
I have that zombie dragon.
This guy.
Oh,
Yvonne-
Evandeth?
Yeah.
Dracolich.
Dracolith. Yeah. So it never dies. Flying Flash, but it enters the battlefield tapped. But if you have a creature that died
That isn't
isn't named this Dracolith, you might cast it back either from your graveyard, basically.
This is a zombie.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's
So
pretty
Undying Dragon,
yeah,
yeah.
reoccurring. Interesting for a dragon, zombie dragon.
Okay.
alright.
And that's it.
Alright. My first pick for red is the Hobgoblin Bandit Lord.
Same here.
Yes. So 1 red for a 2/3 Goblin Rogue that gives other goblins you control +1/+1. He also has an ability where you pay red and tap it, and the Bandit Lord deals damage equal to the number of goblins that enter the battlefield under your control this turn to any target. So I picked him, because Goblin Charge was pretty strong. I had that the Jank Ben deck from a while back that comboed with Stuffy Doll. So I was kind of thinking to use the second ability on Stuffy Doll. But yeah, that was my first pick. My second pick, a little bit more generic support. I went with Meteor Swarm, which is X red for a sorcery that deals 8 damage divided as you choose among X target creatures and or planeswalkers. So I like the flexibility of this one. This is a little different than your usual fireball type of a spell. If you only need to deal 8 damage to one creature, I think the spell only costs 4 mana.
It's pretty easy to
Yeah.
cast. Yeah, for 8 damage.
Yep. And then, the X makes it a little bit more flexible if you have more threats that you need to deal with. So that was my second pick. What do you guys go with?
Okay. For my first pick, I actually went with Minion of the Mighty.
Ooh.
Kobold.
Kobold
0/1 Cobalt.
Menace. The second ability is what I'm interested in, the Pack Tactics. Whenever a minion of the Mighty attacks, if you attack with creatures total power 6 or greater this combat, you can put a dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, tap and attacking.
Oh, I see why.
Himself is not that good. The second ability is really good.
Yeah.
You need some big creatures to attack with him, though.
Kill on sight.
Yeah.
It's 0/1. It's not going to do you anything.
Yeah, exactly. Easy to kill, so kill on
Well,
sight.
not as easy because he has Menace, so you need 2 blockers.
I'm just gonna ping him, man.
Wow.
Okay.
The second card I picked is Orb of Dragonkind.
Oh, more dragons.
Because it helps the dragon deck a lot.
Yes.
Add 2 mana, for you to tap it, 2 mana, any combination of colors, to cast dragons or activate abilities of dragons.
You don't even have to sacrifice it. I thought it was a one-time use thing.
No.
The second one you want.
ability is red, and then you sack it. Look at the top 7 cards. You can reveal a dragon card and put it into your hand. Put the rest in the bottom of the library. So you can check your dragons or put them out using different mana. So it's great.
Wow.
Pretty useful. The only one that I have that's different is Inferno of the Star Mounts.
The legendary
dragon.
dragon.
That dragon, yeah, just because his fire breath ability is actually kind of interesting. It's like if you're able to pump his power up to 20, you can actually deal 20 damage to any
That's
target.
right. And he starts with
Yeah.
power 6 already.
Yep.
Oh, and he has haste.
Yep, and I'm just thinking there's other stuff that buffs creatures already, say equipment or anything else. Like you can easily get up to 20
Oh, I
and
didn't
just
even
start
think about
doing damage, 20 damage to anything.
Yeah.
Ah.
So almost like if you can give 19 to pay 1, it's like a one red mana 20 damage direct damage to
Yeah.
anything. Yeah.
And you get that card that triples damage, right? You just kill someone
true
right
that,
away.
True
Oh,
that.
wow.
Or double or triple. Yeah.
Double or triple, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
definitely
it. That's my pick.
Okay.
Good picks.
Red. Green.
All right, for green. Let's see. My first pick, I actually went with, probably different than what you guys picked. I went with Ochre Jelly.
Oh, the
X in green for a ooze creature,
This thing.
0/0 ooze creature with trample. It enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it. Well, what's really interesting about it is the second ability, or I guess third ability, which is split. When it dies, if it had 2 or more +1/+1 counters on it, you create a token that's a copy of it at the beginning of the next end step, and then that token enters the battlefield with half as many +1/+1 counters. So it's basically getting cut in half.
Oh. Hey, this will work on the token deck.
Yeah, nothing to see there. That's a terrible idea.
Hey, with the commander, I get 2.
Yes, well, I was thinking to put this in the Zaxxor deck. It's an X spell.
Good find, sir.
Terrible. All right, my second pick. I went with a Instrument of the Bards. So it's a 1 green mana legendary artifact. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a harmony counter on Instrument of the Bards. Then you can pay 3 green and tap it to search your library for a creature card with mana value equal to the number of harmony counters on the instrument. And you reveal it and you put it in your hand. If it's legendary, you create a treasure token. So could be useful in a legendary
You can get rich.
tribal.
By finding your creatures.
Yeah, by finding your creatures. So yeah, that was my 2 picks. What did you guys go with?
So I didn't know about the jelly. Sounds pretty good. I went with Gnawbone
Oh yes.
as the dragon. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens.
Yes. Lots
So
of
that's,
treasures.
lots of treasures. I like that. Second pick I did is the creature version of Gaia's Cradle, Circle of Dreams Druid. Add green for each creature you control.
Yes. I can see that being very powerful.
What about you?
I pretty much have both what you guys got. My first pick was the Circle of the Dream Druid, and my second was Instrument of the Bards.
Nice.
All right, that's it for green. Okay, so for multicolor, I first went with a Volo Guide to Monsters. So 2 green blue for a legendary human wizard. He's a 3/2. Whenever you cast a creature spell that doesn't share a creature type with a creature you control, or a creature card in your graveyard, you copy that spell. So I thought this was an interesting ability where I might try to build a deck around where it's like the opposite of tribal. I would try to have
As many different
as
types.
many different
Yeah,
types
that's
as
what I was
possible. So
thinking.
that's why I thought it was really interesting. That's why he was my first pick. Then my second pick, I went with Orcus, Prince of Undeath. So he costs X2, black and red. He's a legendary demon. It's 5/3, flying, trample, and then when he enters the battlefield, you can choose one. You can either have each other creature getting -X until end of turn, and you lose X life, or return up to X target creature cards with total mana value X or less from the graveyard to the battlefield, and they gain haste until end of turn. So I thought it was nice to have this flexibility of either using him as some kind of a board wipe when he comes into play, or to kind of bring back your army that is in the graveyard. So those are my 2 picks.
I also picked Volo, so got one.
Yeah.
And then the second pick I did is Tiamat.
Ah, yes.
Dragon God, 2 Uberg. Flying when it ETBs, search your library for up to 5 dragons not named Tiamat.
Yeah.
Reveal them, put them in your hand, and shuffle.
Yeah.
Dragon Tutor.
It's like made for the dragon deck.
Just asking for it.
Hard to cast, but it's so powerful when you
Yeah.
cast it out. Yeah. So my 2 picks are already been talked about: Tiamat and also Orcus, Prince of the Undead. I think those are. I'll be happy if I get either of them.
Yeah.
True.
Finally, we have our colorless and land cards picks. So just a reminder again, we are going to be using giving these out as box toppers in our box breaks. But we just wanted to share our picks for those as well. So for colorless, I looked at the available options and I decided to go with the Hand of Vecna. I think we mentioned this earlier in our black slot, but this is the legendary artifact equipment with a mana cost of 3. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, equip a creature or a creature you control named Vecna gets +X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. You have 2 equip options. You can either pay 2 mana, or you can pay 1 life for each card in your hand. So I thought just by itself, without having to have the rest of its partner cards, I think it was still a powerful enough equipment that can see use somewhere. So that's what my pick would be. Do you guys have any other colorless picks?
I picked the Deck of Many Things. The 5 to cast legendary artifact that you roll the d20 dice and subtract the number of cards in your hand. If the result is 0 or less, discard your hand for the first ability. And then if you roll a 1 to 9, you get to return a card at random from your graveyard to your hand. If you roll 10 to 19, you get to draw 2 cards. And if you roll a 20, put a creature card from any graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. And when that creature dies, its owner loses the game.
That's really interesting.
So pick someone that you don't like and make them lose the game.
Jacked up.
And my second one is the Eye of Vecna, which we talked about before already.
Oh, yes.
So do you have any other ones?
I actually picked Treasure Chest as well. It's like a 3 to cast artifact, and pay 4 to sack it, and you have a 55 chance to get something useful, and of course 5% chance to lose 3 lives. So I was like, hey, probability wise, still kind of in my favor if I want to use it. So that's the one I picked. Yeah.
Gamble.
Yep. All right. Should we go with land?
All right.
Since it's our
Yeah.
So with land, there's not that much selection, right? There's each of the colored lands.
It's like a turning a creature type of.
Yeah, they can either
mechanism,
turn into a
yeah.
creature, and it's one of those where if you control 2 or more other lands, it enters the battlefield tapped, which I think actually makes it worse, right? I would rather have the one that comes into play tapped if you have less lands.
Yeah, because if you get it later in the game,
Because if you get it later in the game, you can just play it and use it right away. This way, it's only faster in the beginning, and then it actually becomes slower if you draw it later.
Yeah,
on.
it kind of holds you back, saying, "Hey, if you want to use it as mana, at the early of the game, it's okay. But if later, you want to use actually the crucial ability, is actually slows you, almost like giving a summon sickness. You can't use it right away.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So there's that series of lands plus the other one which I did pick, which was Treasure Vault. I picked it, obviously because it makes treasures, but it is an artifact land. So I was thinking to put it in, the Oscar deck.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
It's an artifact land.
So yeah, that was the only one that was an artifact land from this set. But yeah, you tap to add colorless to your mana pool, or you can pay X and tap and sacrifice it to create X treasure tokens.
And treasure tokens are always considered artifacts, right?
Yes. So you can make artifacts.
Excellent.
And you can kind of color cycle them, right? Because treasures are...
Right, yeah.
all
Treasures
colors.
can give you any color, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like there's some utility here that can be benefit in the right deck.
Land laundering.
Yeah. Land money laundering.
Yep. I think Treasure Vault was my pick as well. Do you
Yeah.
have a different pick for land?
Same.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, there's not that much selection. Again, that's why we went with using these as box toppers as opposed to having its own slot.
Yeah.
Hope that makes sense for everybody.
All right.
And looking forward to breaking those boxes soon.
Yep.
Yep. Let's
Hopefully
see
you'll
some
participate with us.
see some fancy things in this set.
Yep.
Yep. All right.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Hey, hope you guys liked our top 2 video for A Forgotten Realms. We will be having those on sale for both our website, MTGMoxBox.com, and on eBay under seller handle MTGMoxBox. And for the draft and set, it's going to be $25 per slot. And for the collector, it's going to be $50 per slot. So, quick update on our inventory. For Modern Horizons 2 draft, we have 4 slots left. For Modern Horizons 2 Collector, we have 6 slots left. Commander Legends Collector, we have 7 slots left. A Forgotten Realms, for the draft, we have 5 slots left. And the set and collector, we have 6 slots left. So, let's time to do the giveaway with the Modern Horizons 2 pack. Good luck, everybody. Christopher Yu, congratulations. And we will be contacting you for your free pack. For those who like the giveaway, definitely like and subscribe the video, tell your friends, and try again by leaving a comment in this video. We'll be doing another giveaway next time. Thanks for watching.